Kettlebell swings. Are you doing them right? We know. Do you? Well, in this video, we're going to show you 3 things to look for, plus some bonus extra at the end that'll bring it all together for you. So, how is a kettlebell swing supposed to look?
This is the tricky part. First and foremost, we're not going to get into the depth of the swing. We're not going to get into individual mechanics. Different people, different body types are going to need to do, let's say, more of, let's use the common terminology, hinge versus squat. They're going to go deeper, they're going to go shallower. Maybe your stance is a little wider or narrower. We can't do that because we don't know you, unfortunately. What we can do, though, is teach you the broad strokes things, what to look for during the different phases of the movement, and there aren't that many phases. So let's start with the first, which is going to be your hike pass, or your backswing. Let's say you're coming down from a swing. That would be the case too. But either way, we need first the arms need to connect to the body. Okay, kettlebells are going to use the legs to move the body. The arms need to become a bridge between the kettlebell, the body, and the legs. So if they're not connected to the body, you're not going to get the force from the ground up into the bell. So first and foremost, you want to make sure the arms are nice and tight. I'm going to look for space in here, and I want good connection between maybe the tricep and the rib cage. I'm also looking for something right around there where the forearm or the wrist is on the thigh. Okay, those are the points I'm looking for. Now I'm also going to be looking for rotation. Not going to be super big in the 2-arm swing. In most cases, you may see some weird stuff going on in the hips. But let's say if it's a 1-arm swing. So go ahead and center that arm. Okay, so he's using 1 arm here. Notice he's roughly squared. As soon as he reaches back, that arm can take that rib cage and rotate it. This is also going to be a problem with force transfer. So we want to make sure that the arm, a little bit of rotation is okay. That's fine, maybe out to the side, or even if he can maintain this position, so try to maintain this, there we go. He can swing his arm back, this is going to help him, as long as he can stay square. You do need to consider different body types are going to have certain distances where the shoulder is going to need to come into the leg, and you may need to rotate just to get a bell through here. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about excessive rotation. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing, we want to make sure that this is initiated by the legs. So you're looking at the big pieces here. We're looking at the hips, we're looking at the knees. Ankles are going to move too, but that's not going to be your point of focus. We want to look at bigger things. So we want to make sure these things are going to move first. Your goal when you're actually doing a swing, you're thinking push your feet down, and I really like people to be aware of the feet. Think about the feet. Drive your feet down and you're going to start to stand up. You're going to start to stand up because that's basically what you're doing, standing up really fast. Okay? So as you come up here, you want to make sure this is happening first. So if he's not moving here, let's go and just jerk your head up. So you can already see the shoulder and the back is starting to move and his legs have not. So we're looking for initiation with the legs. The hip can move a little bit ahead of the knee, but we don't want to see too much knee moving before the hip. So go ahead and stand up without moving your hip. So you're just gonna, there we go. So you see the hips are gonna rise. That's gonna take some power away from the swing. So we want to make sure all of that stuff initiated at the same time. Hip can move a little bit before the knee, but basically both at the same time, which brings us to the last thing is we want to make sure everything's finishing at the same time. Head, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle. At this point, go ahead and stick your arms out, grab. You can lean back a little bit. This is not incorrect. This is really, especially if you've got a heavier bell, this is totally fine. But notice there's a straight line between head, shoulder, hip, and knee. So we want to see all of that in a straight line, whatever's going on. Sometimes what you'll see, arms are up, you'll see the shoulders finishing first or behind the hips. Okay, we'll miss that. Maybe you don't see the hips actually coming through all the way. Maybe the knees are still bent a little bit. Maybe the head is up, maybe the head is down, which is kind of a common thing. Okay, so what we'll see is things are not finishing vertically and they're not finishing at the same time. And the bonus thing, super important, when we evaluate a swing, let's say there's a swing error, I don't like what I'm seeing, I always go back to the previous swing, the previous snatch, the previous clean, whatever it is, because what you do in one movement sets up your next movement. So let's say we've got the arms here at the top, he's hit the float. The last piece is we want to wait for these arms to connect as much as possible. So we've got good connection here. Now, some people are gonna be able to get their wrists all the way down. He can't do that. Go ahead and face the camera. For him to do that, his hands are gonna have to spread too wide. That's too wide for a bell handle. His hands are gonna be constrained right here. So we're gonna get that contact here, but it's gonna leave a little bit of a gap. So we can't quite get there, totally fine. He's a bit too muscular. Some people can do it, some people can't. We though do want as much of this contact here as possible, okay? Then at that point, break into the backswing, okay? So we're initiated arm to body contact. That's already been established at the end of the last rep. At the end of the last rep, initiate with the legs, finish everything at the same time, then the arms can come up and float. That's what you're looking for.
That's all there is to it. So if you can see those three things plus the fourth bonus, then chances are you got yourself a good swing. If you don't, well then you need some work. And luckily for you, we're here for you. So if you're having trouble with your swing, leave a comment below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay strong.